We're with Brother Michael Dimond. His latest work, UFOs, Demonic Activity, and Elaborate Hoaxes Meant to Deceive Mankind. We'll be back with Michael in just a moment on Coast to Coast AM. Michael, these people who claim that they're getting messages from above, from ETs, tell me what is happening to them. Are the demons sending them messages on purpose, trying to deceive them, send them false messages? What's happening?
Exactly. They're sending them false messages so that they will promote to others a false faith that will make people lose their souls, that will make them fall into apostasy. And so that's what they do. So the demon gives the person that thinks that they're being abducted by an alien the specific message that the demon wants to promote, and then the person who claims to have contact then disseminates that message to the rest of humanity. And a lot of people then embrace it, thinking that that's the real truth about the universe and about God. They embrace it, and it leads to them, being put outside the true faith, or in a state of apostasy, or in a state where if they die in that state, they will be lost. So that's the end game and the goal of the devil, to get people so that he can corrupt people's faith and destroy true belief in the one true God and the one true religion.
Is the devil winning this battle right now, in your opinion?
He is definitely winning the battle over humanity, yes, sadly. And it's very unfortunate, but that's the hope, that we can bring out the information to show who's really behind this deception, and that it's part of a bigger plan so that people will lose their faith, or their faith will be corrupted, and ultimately they'll lose their souls. That's the goal of the devil, and unfortunately he's been quite successful.
Give us a scenario, Michael, as this continues to evolve, what you think will happen and how it will come down.
Well, I believe what's going to happen is that more and more sightings will happen of UFOs. More people will claim to receive messages, but I think especially the sightings. I think that you would definitely agree, watching this as closely as anyone,
sure,
that there seems to be an increase, each year. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely, and growing.
And growing. So it's going to continue year in, year out as we move along, as we close out these last days. And some people will come to the conclusion that, hey, there's got to be other races out there, and why didn't the Bible mention this, and all these different kinds of things. One thing I was going to say is that I know one thing that you've discussed quite a bit about is like Area 51, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting is that there was a huge satanic ritual that was performed on the very spot where Area 51 happened by this Jack Parsons, and in which they had this magical ceremony called Babylon Working, and it was designed by Aleister Crowley, who is a Satanist who called himself the B666.
Yes.
And the purpose of this series of magical ceremonies, which was performed on the spot of Area 51, where it's now located, was to unseal an interdimensional gateway, they said. And so this, they hoped, would allow other entities known as the, quote, old ones, access to our space-time continuum. And so during this ritual, the spirit of Antichrist was bestowed on Jack Parsons, according to one witness. And this witness said that he saw Jack Parsons rip a hole in space-time there, and he said that something evil flew in. And one other interesting point is that Aleister Crowley, who was a Satanist, who called himself the B666, as I just mentioned, he claimed to have contact with some kind of alien named Lamb. And this Lamb, he drew a picture of this alien that he was in contact, receiving messages from this being, and the picture that he drew of this alien, it's a striking resemblance to the common gray ET drawing. So it's very interesting what you have happening here. And that occultic ritual, going back to that at Area 51, that was in 1947. And so that could have been something where these people wanted the devil to get more involved, and they had the big satanic ritual, and that's why there's been such a proliferation over the decades since that time, of these sightings of UFOs. So, and that's why, like, some of the people see stuff at Area 51, and other people say, well, it's just advanced aircraft because they have the secret base there. But it's really a combination of the two. They're definitely spiritual things that are being seen there because of the satanic ritual, and obviously they have the secret base there where advanced aircraft is being tested. And so it's not one or the other, it's actually both. And what's interesting is this fellow Jack Parsons, who was the main person involved in the satanic ritual, he was involved in creating some of the most advanced technological stuff that we have right now in rocket propulsion systems. He was even involved with a lot of the stuff that NASA does. They even named a crater on the moon. It's called the Parsons Crater. It was named after Jack Parsons.
Right.
So you see all the connections here.
I've long believed that if there is satanic activity on this planet, and I believe there is, if they are in constant communication with these demons, or even if they conjure them up, Brother Michael, is it possible they do with their rituals and things like that?
Exactly, and that's why, like, some people say that, just switching it slightly to a different topic, people that have cursed other people, that if you ask God for certain things, He will grant them. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and shall be open unto you, Matthew 7:7. And also, if people ask the devil for help or for special things, he can give that stuff to certain people, and it can actually afflict and cause harm upon others if they're in a state of mortal sin. If a person has the true Catholic faith, if they're in a state of grace, it has no effect upon the person. But if a person's in a state of mortal sin, they can be affected by the curses that certain people ask the devil to put upon them. But yes, you have a number of people that get certain favors from the devil because he has much power on this earth. Our Lord called the devil the prince of this world. St. Paul called the devil the god of this world. And so therefore he can give and does give certain people who ask him for certain favors on this earth to inflict harm upon others, maybe to get certain material benefits. He can even to a point predict the future in the sense that if you follow the devil's path and do what the devil wants, he can have certain things fall into place for you. And that's why when certain people, for example, go to astrologers or tarot card readers and other people, the reason why they're able to accurately predict sometimes what will happen to a person is because if you follow what they say, and what they're saying is through the guidance of the demon who's possessing them, who's giving them the information and telling the person to tell the other person, if you do this, that, and the other thing, you'll get this, you'll get that, and you'll get the other thing. That can really happen, and it does happen. That's why some people say, how does it happen? I went to the tarot card reader, they told me, or the fortune teller, and they told me if I did this, and this is going to happen to me in the future, and it does. It's because you follow what the devil's plan is for you. And if you do that, the devil can accurately predict on this earth to a point certain things that will happen, that he'll set in place.
We'll continue the dialogue and go to some calls. Gerald driving around in Wisconsin on the wild card line with us. Hey, Gerald, go ahead.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
First off, George, my hat's off, and salute to you for serving our country.
Thank you, Gerald. You too.
2nd Infantry Division, always second to none. And all our veterans listening, thank you. Allow me to give a few details before my question.
All right.
Recently converted to Seventh-day Adventist, and probably the most Bible-based group that I have ever met in my life. The question being that if Catholicism is the only one true faith, which I believe there are Catholics going to heaven, I believe there's Baptists going to heaven, it all is dependent upon the relationship with Jesus Christ. But if Catholicism is the only one true faith, why does the Catholic Church not honor the Sabbath?
Okay, my answer to that is that, of all the 10 Commandments, the one to keep holy the Sabbath is different in nature from the rest. That's why God, through the authority he gave to the apostles and the church, could and did transfer its prerogatives to another day. It's different because it's the only one of the 10 Commandments that pertains to the ceremonial, not the natural law. For instance, man knows in his heart that he should not murder, he should not steal, etc. But the natural law itself does not teach him that he must worship God on a particular day as opposed to another day. That must come from an external revelation. In fact, keeping holy the Sabbath or seventh day only started after the Exodus. It wasn't done before that or from the beginning. It's part of the ceremonial, not the natural law.